What if the question isn't, why am I in so much pain? What if the real question is, why not stay? Because right now, pain feels convincing. It speaks with authority. It tells you this is permanent, that nothing changes, that you are tired beyond repair. But pain is a liar that sounds honest when you're exhausted. Suicide promises relief, but it never tells you the cost. It never tells you about the mornings you haven't seen yet, the conversations that would have changed everything, the version of you that hasn't been born yet because you're still in the middle of becoming. You are not weak for thinking about escape. You are human. But there is a difference between wanting the pain to end and wanting your life to end. Most people don't want to die. They want the suffering to stop. So let's ask it clearly, without fear, without shame, why not suicide? Because emotions are temporary. Even when they feel endless, what feels permanent tonight has disappeared before. You've survived days you once thought would destroy you. And if you're honest, there were moments you never believed you'd outlive. Yet here you are, because your mind is under attack, not under truth. Depression doesn't report reality. It edits it. It zooms in on failures and deletes strengths. It convinces you that you are a burden, when in reality, you are carrying too much alone. Because endings erase possibilities, and you are still full of them. You don't need to see them yet. Seeds grow underground long before they break the surface. Your life may feel buried, but buried is not the same as finished. Because your story has weight, not a perfect story, a real one. And real stories save lives, not by being polished, but by being honest. Someone will need your voice one day. Someone will need proof that surviving is possible without having all the answers. Someone will need to hear, I didn't think I'd make it either. Why not suicide? Because you are allowed to pause without quitting. You are allowed to rest without disappearing. You are allowed to ask for help without explaining yourself. Staying alive does not mean you approve of your pain. It means you refuse to let pain make your final decision. And if right now all you can do is breathe, then breathe. That is enough for this moment. If you're struggling, reach out. A friend, a family member, a counselor, a local support line. You don't need to carry this alone, and you were never meant to. This is not weakness. This is survival. Why not suicide? Because the chapter you're in is heavy, but it's not the last one. Because even broken hearts still beat for a reason. Because staying is an act of quiet courage. Because the world is unfinished without you. And if nothing else makes sense today, hold on to this one truth. You don't have to decide forever today. Just decide to stay. Just for now. Your life is still speaking, and it's not done yet. Stay with me for a moment longer, because there is something important your pain has not told you yet. The fact that you are still listening, still watching, means a part of you wants to live, even if it's small, even if it's tired, and that part matters. You don't need loud hope. You don't need confidence. You just need a crack. Light only needs a crack to get in. Right now, your mind may be screaming for certainty, answers, guarantees, a reason big enough to outweigh the hurt. But life doesn't always give reasons first. Sometimes it gives breath, then meaning follows later. Sometimes survival comes before understanding. Think about this: the worst moments of your life did not announce that they would pass, yet they did. Not because you were strong every day, but because time kept moving even when you felt stuck. The night always believes it will last forever. Morning never argues, it just arrives. You are not behind. You are not defective. You are not a failure for feeling this way. You are responding to pain the way a human nervous system responds to pain. Nothing about this makes you broken. It makes you overwhelmed. And here's the truth most people never say out loud. You don't have to want to live in order to keep living. You just have to delay the decision to die. Delay is powerful. Delay saves lives, because emotions peak, then fall, because thoughts lose their grip, because the urge that feels unbearable right now can weaken if you give it time. Minutes, hours, one night. You don't need to fix your life tonight. You don't need to forgive anyone. You don't need to be positive. You just need to stay. And if staying alone feels impossible, let someone else help you stay. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Every life that was saved had a moment where someone reached out, or someone reached back. Your presence here is proof that the story is still open. Pages yet unwritten. Versions of you that would be grateful you didn't close the book early. If you feel like you're drowning, don't argue with the water. Grab a hand, a friend, a family member, a counselor, a local support line, even a stranger trained to listen. You deserve support simply because you exist. Remember this. Write it somewhere if you have to. You are not required to make permanent decisions in temporary pain. Stay tonight. Stay this hour. Stay this breath. Because one day, maybe not today, you will look back at this version of yourself and realize something extraordinary. They didn't give up. They held on when it was hardest, and because they stayed, everything else became possible. If this message reached you, it's not an accident. Stay with us. Your life still has something to say. Listen carefully now, because this part matters more than you think. There will be a moment, maybe small, maybe quiet, when the intensity eases just enough for you to notice something different. Not happiness, not excitement, just space, a pause between the thoughts. And in that pause is your power. Your mind has been running a marathon without rest. Of course it's exhausted. Of course it's searching for an exit. But exhaustion is not truth. It's a signal that you need care, not disappearance. You don't owe the world perfection. You don't owe anyone strength performances. You don't owe explanations for your pain. You only owe yourself compassion. Right now, the bravest thing you can do is choose the smallest next step. Drink water, change rooms, sit on the floor, step outside for 30 seconds. Text one word to someone you trust, here. Small actions interrupt big spirals. And hear this, because it cuts through the noise. Your value is not measured by productivity, success, approval, or how well you hide your pain. Your value is inherent. You mattered before you proved anything. You matter even now. The voice telling you to end it is loud, but it is not you, it is a state. States change. You have changed before. You will change again. There are people who would never recover from losing you, even if they don't know how to say it. There are futures that only exist if you stay, not perfect futures, real ones, with meaning, depth, laughter that surprises you, and peace that arrives quietly when you least expect it. You are not late to life. You are early in a chapter that requires patience. If you feel unsafe, reach out now. Let someone sit with you in this moment. Why? Oh, don't have to explain everything. You don't have to be eloquent. You just have to be honest enough to say, I need help. That sentence has saved more lives than silence ever has. Stay with this breath, then the next, then the next. Because staying doesn't mean the pain wins. Staying means you do. And one day, when this storm is far behind you, you won't remember every detail of the suffering. But you will remember that you chose to live. And that choice will echo through every good thing that follows. You are still here. That is not nothing. That is everything. Stay with me until the end of this moment, because this is not the end of your story. This is the point where the story pauses, takes a breath, and decides to keep going. Right now, everything inside you may feel loud and heavy at the same time. Thoughts racing, heart tired, hope feeling distant or fake. And when the pain doesn't stop, the mind starts searching for silence at any cost. It doesn't make you weak. It means you are overwhelmed. It means you've been carrying more than one person should have to carry alone. But here's the truth, pain never tells you. The urge to end your life is not a desire for death. It is a desire for relief. It is a desperate request for the suffering to stop. And relief does not require your disappearance. It requires support, time, and compassion, especially from yourself. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not a mistake that needs erasing. You are a human being in a storm, and storms distort vision. They make the horizon disappear. They convince you that this weather is permanent. But no, storm lasts forever, even the ones that feel endless while you're inside them. You don't need to believe things will get better today. You don't need to feel grateful. You don't need to be strong. You just need to postpone the decision, because postponing is powerful. Delaying saves lives. What feels unbearable now can soften with time, sometimes minutes, sometimes hours, sometimes one night of surviving when you thought you couldn't. There is a future version of you that exists only if you stay. A version that breathes easier. A version that understands this pain without being consumed by it. A version that looks back at this moment with tears, not because of how close they came to ending it, but because they didn't. You matter even when you feel empty. You matter even when you feel ashamed of your thoughts. You matter even when you don't feel lovable or useful or seen. Your worth is not earned by how well you cope. It is not measured by success or happiness or strength. Your worth exists because you exist, full stop. If your mind tells you that no one would care, that is the illness talking, not reality. If it tells you you're a burden, that is pain lying. People don't always know how to show love well, but your absence would create a silence that never heals. And if right now you feel unsafe, please hear this clearly. Reaching out is not weakness. It is survival. A friend, a family member, a counselor, a local support line, someone trained to listen. Don't have to explain everything. You don't have to have the right words. You can simply say, "I'm not okay." That sentence can change everything. Do not make a permanent decision while your nervous system is in crisis. This state is temporary, even if it has lasted a long time. States shift, minds calm, pain loosens its grip. But only if you give yourself the chance. Stay for the small things. Stay for the morning light you haven't seen yet. Stay for the laugh that will catch you off guard. Stay for the day you realize breathing doesn't hurt as much anymore. And if all you can do right now is breathe, then breathe. That is enough. Survival does not require confidence. It only requires presence. One day, your survival will mean something to someone else. Maybe you'll never know their name, maybe it will be your own reflection. But your story, unfinished, imperfect, honest, will matter. So why not suicide? Because pain is loud, but it is not permanent. Because relief does not require your death. Because staying is an act of quiet courage. Because the world is not done with you yet. You don't have to decide forever today. Just decide to stay. Just for now. Your life is still speaking, and it deserves to be heard.